Now I'd like to introduce two students who have experienced this miracle of swimming themselves, Carson Burke and Barry Davis, and one future student, Charlene Schaefer. And Carson, Barry, what brought you into miracle swimming?
Well, I was an adult that was afraid to swim, afraid of water, especially deep water. And I'd been searching for a way to solve that problem for myself, but I had a lot of embarrassment around it and really didn't know where to find a teacher. And I happened to meet Melon. We go to the same church, and she handed me a business card, and after that, a year later, I was a swimmer.
Fantastic. And has it really enhanced your life? I mean, you're living in Florida, so I would say, you know, it's pretty good to know how to swim.
Yeah, it really has. I can now enjoy boating or even swimming in my pool in my backyard, going to the beach. Another big thing, I took a vacation to Hawaii with my youngest daughter, and we did a big snorkeling thing. So it's been a lot of fun.
And you just couldn't swim before? But before you got into the Miracle Swimming Institute, you just couldn't swim at all, or just couldn't swim at the level that you want to swim at?
Well, I could stroke across the pool, and I could tread water a little bit, but I really didn't like the idea of putting my head under the water. And so it's like I knew some of the mechanics, but deep down I had a fear thing going on where I really couldn't enjoy what I was doing.
Yeah, and Melon helped solve that. And Barry, how about for you? What's your background?
My experience was somewhat different. Obviously not being physically close to Melon, who's remarkable, I might add. I was just searching the net, and it's something that I've been doing over the years, trying to get into swimming, being embarrassed, as Carson said, about not being able to swim, avoiding the water, avoiding the opportunity to be in the water. And I just happened to find her on the internet, and just something clicked. I knew this was the right approach for me. I knew that it was something that I had to do, and the results have been remarkable.
And you've been trying for years to swim? You've taken swim lessons before?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And unfortunately, the lessons that I've taken in the past all focused on the same thing. Get in the water, here's the strokes, go do them. And I think they were missing the fundamental problem with people such as ourselves, people that were afraid of water, not afraid of swimming. There's, I think, a distinction. And Melon's approach is to make you comfortable in the water, make the water your friend, not your enemy. Don't be fearful of the water. And once you overcome that, in fact, in the first lesson, I was able to do that, the first step. And I've been comfortable in the water ever since.
But how does she do that? Does she just say, hey, don't be scared of the water? Or does she actually, are there drills or something that make you not afraid of the water?
Well, there's stages that you go through. And most importantly for me was the simple thing of letting the water support you, giving in to it and not being afraid of it. Don't fight the water. It's your friend, not your enemy. So once you establish that, and I was doing the class that I did, we did it in Orlando, and one of the other participants was a famous baseball player named Fred McGriff.
Oh, Fred McGriff, the crime dog.
Yeah, crime dog, exactly. And it occurred to me, because he's a tremendous athlete and a tremendous physical specimen, and he couldn't swim.
Is that right?
And it occurred to me that this is not about physical talent or athleticism. It's a mindset, And Melon's approach is quite different. It's different than anybody else's that I've ever encountered. And that's what makes it unique and makes it special and makes it successful.
Yeah, and needless to say, it's enhanced the quality of life, or your quality of life.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because it's when you have a fear and you can confront that fear and conquer that fear, then it just opens up other opportunities for you. And one of the big lessons that she taught us was calmness and being in the moment. And that I've applied to other times. If you're in traffic and somebody does something, I kind of just take that same kind of moment and say, okay, this isn't important. This is where I am right now. So it affects other aspects.
That is fantastic. Carson, would you say it's really changed your life to be able to swim now?
I would. Yeah, I can swim for exercise if that's what I'd like to do, or just being comfortable being on a boat, knowing that if something happens that I could take care of myself in deep water, or if I just want to jump in off the boat and swim for a little while. But I've noticed I have more confidence in lots of other areas too.
Melon, take me through here how Carson and Barry, I don't know if you've taught thousands and thousands of people how to swim. I don't know if you actually remember them specifically, giving them lessons and teaching them how to do things, but using them even generally. Take me through actually how you turn a non-swimmer into a swimmer.
Well, we have to start at the very beginning, and we need to make sure that no steps are skipped. So with Carson, I remember, as she said, she didn't like having her face in the water. And we have some steps to go through, and we have people do things that make them totally comfortable, like hold their nose, hold on to the wall so they know they're stable, take a good breath. Actually, we time how long people can hold their breaths up in the air, just so they know, okay, this is how long I can hold my breath if I wanted to up here in the air. If I can hold my breath so long in the air, at least I can hold it for 5 seconds in the water. Maybe it's safe to put my head in if I've got my nose held, if I close my eyes, if I close my mouth, if I don't put my ears under. So we broke it down into little steps like this so that Carson could do it in a way that sounded like it might even be doable, might be successful, and it wasn't too scary. And we break down everything that way.
Well, it sounds obviously the results were worth it. I don't care how difficult the course was or how miserable the course was, but was the course miserable or did you actually enjoy it too?
Not at all. It was
Wow.
not miserable at all. Now, the whole approach, and one of the approaches also, is that she believes in warm water.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
And at first I said, what do we need that for? You know, and in fact, and I was one who didn't purchase a wetsuit because I didn't think I needed it. Wetsuit was nice.
Were you in a pool or
We were in a pool.
Okay.
We were in a pool, and the warmth, and it just adds to the comfort level. Being warm makes you, I think, more comfortable. And again, that's a difference that her technique is different than anybody else's.
Well, how many lessons would it take you before you felt you were making progress?
Honestly,
Yeah.
I felt a tremendous breakthrough in the very first series of courses, the first step. At the end of the first step, and I was someone like the rest of us, afraid of the water, afraid of being in the deep, and I dove into the pool head first at the deep end, you know.
How about you, Carson? Did it proceed? Did you feel right from the beginning you were making progress?
Yeah, very much so. And actually, I had the chance to go to kind of a demonstration class. It was just maybe a 3-hour class or something before the official class began. And I was comfortable putting my head in the water at the end of that 3 hours. So that was a major hurdle for me. And from there, it just got even better.
Yeah, terrific. Now, Charlene, you're at the stage that Carson and Barry were before they started this wonderful course. Tell me your situation as a swimmer.
Well, I'm comfortable swimming with my fins, but you take those fins away and I'm hopeless.
Okay.
So that's, you know.
Do you feel that you're just not as proficient as you'd like to be, or do you actually have fear in the water? Do you feel like there's a chance you're gonna drown?
Well, I don't think I'm proficient. If I was proficient, I wouldn't be having this problem, but there's certainly a fear of the
really,
deep.
are you, okay, so, but your goal in taking these classes, it's to be able to enjoy the water more, or is it to kind of more of a mechanical thing where you'd like to be able to progress through the water faster or longer?
Mechanics would come later for me. The most important thing right now is to be comfortable, to be able to float, to be able to swim in the deep, to be able to feel comfortable swimming with my children. I have two
right.
kids, and I take them to the pool, but I, prefer to sit back and watch them swim.
Right.
Otherwise, if I do go in the water, I like to stay in the shallow. I never go into the deep.
Okay.
So that's my problem, unless I'm spider crawling around the swimming
right.
pool. But
Now, how about your kids? Are they swimmers?
they took swimming lessons. First, they took lessons at a organization, a nonprofit organization, and that didn't seem to really work for my son. My daughter was okay, but he was terrified. So I thought, okay, I'll get a private instructor. And I did that, and he took 4 lessons, but it did not, what was missing was the fear factor, the fact that she did not explain to him, she was trying to put him in the water when he was trying to stay out of the water. So I knew that that was a problem. She eventually got him to swim, but it took him over a year to be really comfortable.
Now, Carson, you have actually experienced the miracle of the Miracle Swimming Institute. You've learned to swim and be comfortable in the water when you probably gave up at one point. So now, is it just convenience, or do you actually now go out of your way to enjoy now the fun in some of these swimming activities?
No, I definitely go out of the way and have a lot more fun with the water. We have pool parties. I heat the pool when the grandkids come, for a weekend, and enjoy going to the beach. And I think I mentioned before, taking a swimming vacation is now something that's fun, like a snorkeling trip. It's a big part of my life.
And again,